How I tackled the college admissions is I looked at where I was at, which is my grades were not the best. And so I looked at all the top schools and I thought about which one would be easiest to get into. And Stanford is actually up there.
Really?
Because they don't look at...
Before we continue this video, I just want to say thank you so much to Audible for sponsoring this video. Get your first Audible for free, plus 2 Audible Originals when you try Audible for 30 days. Visit audible.com/Joma or text Joma at 500-500. So what are Audible Originals? Well, I'm glad you asked. Audible Originals are exclusive audio titles created by celebrated storytellers from worlds as diverse as theater, journalism, literature, and more. So basically there's like sound effects, music, voice actors, and it's basically really well produced. I myself have been listening to Bad Blood by John Carreyrou, which is about Elizabeth Holmes and her startup Theranos and how she lied her way into creating a multi-billion-dollar biotech startup. Bill Gates loved it apparently. It was one of his favorites in 2018. I've been using Audible when I do boring stuff, like when I commute, when I do laundry, when I cook, which allows me to suck in all that knowledge and become a better me. And you should too. So if you're interested, don't forget you can go to audible.com/Joma or send Joma to 500-500 to try Audible for free. Like when I look at your channel, I'm actually like, oh man, I kind of want that channel.
Just random
yeah,
shit.
Exactly, where I could do random shit. Like if you looked at my vlogs and some of my old videos, you would see that, it's a lot of random shit also.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually enjoyed doing that. But then it was because this channel blew up that, okay, I have to double down on this.
Right.
So it's kind of sad.
I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm always tempted to make more Stanford videos, but...
Because it gets clicks, it gets views, right?
But at the same time, I just want to just say whatever.
Yeah, but I do think that like your audience is like very strong though.
Yeah, I'm really thankful for that.
It's like a lot of good memes and stuff like that. Yeah, like I think at the beginning, my channel was also like that. Like a bit more like memey, a lot of like inside jokes and stuff. Yeah, but then like the tech videos, they just like blew me up. So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm gonna keep doing that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, cool. So all right, let's start the interview. I always say like I don't want to make it too much of an interview. So if ever you want to ask me questions, you could ask me questions.
Okay.
And what's funny is because like my viewers are always like, dude, can you shut the up and let the other person talk? Like it's not always about you, Joma.
Yeah.
So okay, so I'm just telling them like it's not an interview, it's a conversation, so that I could say stuff too. Yeah. So before I start, you want to just like introduce yourself, a little bit about your channel. What is it about?
Geez, a spiel. Hi, I'm Arpi Park. I have a YouTube channel. Check it out. Hi.
So I brought you in because you go to Stanford, and Stanford gets a lot of clicks. So I'm gonna use that on my channel. So can I just ask you a little bit about like your scores first, and then like how'd you get in? What did you like? Why did you think you got in and stuff like that?
SAT I got a 1590, and then ACT I got
what
a
is that out of?
Oh, 1600
Canadian. Sorry.
Oh, right.
Oh, 1600.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, I think. Like it's 1 point before the maximum?
Yeah, it was one question. I was always bummed about
trash.
That, but I know, it just...
you shouldn't even get accepted to Stanford.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. So in your videos, you say that, you don't study a lot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is it true now, or is it even true before? Because like 1590, that's very like...
Right.
I think you would need to study a lot for that, right?
So what I'll say about the test scores is that I think I was just always sort of lucky with test taking skills. Like I didn't study too much for like standardized tests. I just took like maybe like 3 or 4 practice tests beforehand, and then usually that'd be enough. Yeah, I mean, people keeps telling me it's a meme that I don't study, but like I told you earlier, I'm taking like 2 classes right now. In high school, I'll say I tried a lot harder.
I see.
Only like junior, senior year. It's because I had like this end goal, like this holy grail of getting into Stanford.
Oh, so you wanted to get into Stanford?
Right. I wanted to get into a prestigious school because...
What about like Harvard and the other schools? You don't care about them?
How I tackled the college admissions is I looked at where I was at, which is my grades were not the best. And so I looked at all the top schools and I thought about which one would be easiest to get into. And Stanford is actually up there.
Really?
Because they don't look at freshman year, and like I have like a weird set of extracurriculars, so I thought it fit Stanford best. So the decision to apply to Stanford versus like Ivy League or whatever was basically just because I thought it'd be easier to get into Stanford.
Okay. So you wanted to get into like Ivy League / prestigious school?
Yeah.
And then you thought Stanford was like the easiest one.
As weird as it is to say, Stanford seemed like the easiest option.
Interesting. Okay, Elliot is here right now.
Oh, sweet.
So I'm gonna get him. So here we have Elliot now. So you want to tell you a little bit about yourself, about your channel, what you talk about?
Yeah, I'm a sophomore at Vanderbilt. I am working on a channel right now that focuses a lot on like college videos, entrepreneurship, lifestyle. I'm really into like videography and whatnot, but it really changes up a lot. So I'm still trying to like find my style. I'm pretty like new to the game.
Yeah, classic kids trying to figure out, you know, what they want to do, you know, passion, stuff like that. Makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so we were talking about why you chose Stanford, and you said it was the easiest to get into.
What I meant by that is that like I don't have a good chance to get into any of these schools, but like between like the 2% chance at the other schools, there was like a 5% chance for Stanford, which is why I applied there.
All right,
That's what I'm trying to say.
This is a good opportunity for me to get more clarification question.
Okay.
So don't say anything to Elliot. Elliot, normally, how many practice tests do you take for like these SATs? Wait, was it SATs?
I took both.
Okay, yeah. So usually, how many tests would you take before taking the real test? Practice tests.
Maybe like at least 5 up to around 10 to 15.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just trying to get a feel of if that was a lot or not a lot. So yeah, you're correct. You do not study a lot.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I took a lot of like tests growing up.
Oh,
there's like
okay.
standardized tests everywhere in the
seriously?
schooling system. So
Okay.
Good
Yeah,
test taker.
not in Canada. We don't have that.
right, Canada.
Yeah, that's why University of Waterloo is a great school.
There's
Yeah.
so many people from Waterloo who
Really?
went to like tech.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're basically a factory.
Oh,
We just
yeah.
make like tech babies and then
Churn them out.
pretty much. Yeah.
sounds like
and,
Stanford.
And I'm one of them. Yeah. No, but Stanford, you guys churn out like entrepreneurs. You know, people who care about certain things. You know, like Snapchat. You know, it's gonna change the world and stuff like that,
So
right?
snakes.
Okay, can I ask about you? Like, how did you get into like your school?
Vanderbilt?
Yeah, I'm sorry, because like,
Yeah.
I actually don't know
Yeah.
any. Like, do you know?
It's
Yeah.
not that like well known on the east or like west coast, I'd say. I didn't even know about the school before.
Right. Where is it exactly?
It's in Nashville, Tennessee, so it's like down south. Yeah.
So, what are your like SAT scores? And
Oh shoot, never revealed that. No, I don't mind. I say it
Okay,
sometimes.
okay.
Yeah, I got a 35 on my ACT. I never took the SAT, and I
Out of 36.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
not
So
like
many different ones.
1600, 35
I was
out of
like
1600.
Yeah, that's
Oh, that seems kind of low. Yeah, 35.
Okay.
And what else?
Yeah, can you tell me about your what is it, like the common application or like essay stuff? How, what is it? What did they ask you? And then like, what you like? Why did you think you got in? What was your selling point?
My sell was honestly my Instagram. I was doing a lot of photography,
Oh,
and I
dang.
talked about
Okay.
like, I know I could have talked about my violin, but like every Asian does that, or like my volunteering.
Wait,
but
you play violin?
I play violin, yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Me too. I think, oh, you do? Damn,
Yeah,
that's pretty dope.
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I could have just done
I
that.
didn't mention
but-
it either, so.
I want
Yeah.
to learn violin.
No, so I talked about like my Instagram account. In high school, I had like 5,000, and I was like growing it, and I thought it was like kind of unique, and I don't know, I just thought it would be pretty interesting to talk about, develop a story around it. So.
Nice, that makes sense. What was your selling point for Stanford?
My selling point is that I don't know. Basically, I'm a kid studying communication, which nobody really does. So yeah.
Yeah. What else? Oh yeah. So can you tell me a bit about like what you guys are studying right now?
Me? Okay. Right now, I'm taking some film classes. I took some acting classes, and I took one CS class. Decided that it's not for me. So.
I have to cut that out for my chat.
Oh shit! Oh no! I love
This is a CS
CS.
channel.
Joma Tech, good channel.
Okay.
Watch it all the time.
Later on, I'll tell you why you should get into CS. But okay.
Okay.
What about
It's gonna
you?
convince us. It's called Human and Organizational Development, and I have like a business minor. It's too complicated to explain, so
I see.
it's just business pretty much.
Okay,
but
okay.
it's a liberal arts school, so
That's cool.
it just it's kind of wishy-washy.
Interesting. So, I mean, it's way too early for you guys, but I'll still ask you, like, what do you envision yourself in like 5 years? So, like, what kind of job, or how are you guys gonna make money? Like, you don't have to, but basically, what do you think you'll do in 5 years after college?
I'm like really interested in like marketing, even maybe biz dev for tech, and I like eventually would love to be in like entrepreneurship and running my own thing. I don't think that's something where it's like super forced though. I think you have to be patient with it and just get some experience and learn about like the inner workings of an industry before you can really be like, oh, I'm gonna go create an amazing solution for it. If you don't know what the problem is, it's kind of difficult. So I just like want to try to work like a traditional job for a little bit, but eventually would love to do my own thing.
I haven't thought that far. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, we all know who the better student is.
I mean, it's
No, we don't.
everybody knew it. So.
Anyways, okay, question. So once you guys got, pretty famous, Big Boy Chanel, what kind of questions do you guys get most often asked on Instagram? Or sorry, not Instagram, just DMs.
I'm actually curious to hear.
A lot of the earlier ones was just people asking me to like read over their applications. So like for the first couple months of my channel, I was just editing essays like 24/7.
You actually did them for them?
Yeah, I did, because like I started the channel to try to help people, because I thought there was like an information gap in the college application process for kids who didn't get like counseling and things like that.
Damn.
So I wanted to help them, but after a while, I was just drowning. So I had to stop.
I would say like I do get a lot of questions from high schoolers as well. It's like, oh, what do I do for like, how do I get into this college? Like, I don't know. But I also get like some entrepreneurship stuff, like how do I, make some side money, or videography questions, stuff like that.
So are you already making side money right now? See how I transitioned. So do you make side money right now?
Yeah, so I used to like flip and resell a lot, which was like my, I was making a lot in like high school, like thousands, and I was like, whatever, that's great. And then I invested all that money into like an Amazon business doing private label, FBA.
What's private label?
It's basically like you get a product and you make it your own, brand it yourself, and like
like drop shipping a little bit?
Kind of, but like drop shipping is less. Drop shipping is like you use other people's products. Private label, you go through the manufacturing process and the branding and so it's a lot. But yeah, and then all that money I made through flipping and reselling, I lost through Amazon. And,
oh really?
Yeah, pretty much. And so I am pretty much just relying on YouTube income now.
YouTube income? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any like side businesses that are related to your YouTube? Like, do you do sponsor videos? Do you sell something?
I am not selling right now. Pretty much just ad revenue. I've done like one sponsorship in my total time on YouTube. Like, don't like doing them a lot. I'm never like really focused on monetization, so I just kind of like leave that alone. I'm trying to get back into it because it's like, it takes a lot of time. You guys know. It takes up a lot of time.
I was about to say like, I hate it too, but then I'll probably have a sponsor for this video.
And sponsor for this video.
Yeah. But okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. So how much do you make for like YouTube and stuff?
Yeah.
Currently.
So it really depends. I'm sure you guys know, like from month to month. For me, it's like the check or the payment I get from YouTube is around 1 to 2K, and it could be a lot higher if I use a lot of copyrighted music, probably on 80% of my videos. So that's the reason why all my biggest videos, none of them are monetized, because I care a lot about music and whatnot.
So like around how many views per month do you get, just so that we can get a comparison in case people want to be YouTubers?
I would have to like pull it up. I think probably at least 1 million. Yeah. I think maybe 1 to 2.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So do you we'll get to you. Do you plan on like expanding something, new business line or something, like, do you do something for photography?
Sure. As of right now, really, I'm just like exploring. I'm trying to tap into my creative side a little bit more. So not really focused on, I could roll out that course or whatever, like, here's how you get into college, whatever. I could do that.
Yeah, I wanted to do that.
And you can make big bucks doing that. And it's pretty easy sell. I would arguably say like anyone who has a sizable following and has some informational, power there can like make a few $100,000, I'd say, doing that. And I know people who have, but really, I'm not like trying to monetize quick. So as of right now, no. Yeah.
And what are they selling?
People
Like
sell
courses.
like courses. Yeah, courses go for like $500 to $1,000. I know like people. So like the Amazon thing. I know people who have like sold, never sold on Amazon, sold a course. They made like around 10 million off of that. So there's a lot, especially in like entrepreneurship. There's a lot of bullshit.
Like
That's wild.
courses are good because there's no cost except
Yeah.
your time to make it once, and
Exactly.
then you could sell it and market it however
it's a
you want.
replicable
Yeah.
product that you can just.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the Here in My Garage guy.
Here my girl. What is
Yeah,
that?
Ty Lopez.
Ty Lopez.
Oh yeah. Here's my garage. But
He
you know
sold
what's
a
better?
course too, right?
Knowledge.
Yeah, that's his whole like
Yeah.
business
Just a
model.
bunch of
yeah, like
Just like Dan Locke. I don't know if you've ever seen his ads.
Vancouver.
All those people.
it's all the
Yeah,
same. It's
I
all
mean-
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, if it works, it works. I mean, congrats on them.
yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, yeah, back to you because you said that people usually ask for your application. So you actually reviewed their applications. How long did it take you to review them?
So like they'd send me like their Common App essays, like 650 words. So it
Okay.
took like 30 minutes to 45 minutes, just like reading through it and leaving comments, stuff like that.
That's a lot.
So what are like the general tips you would say? What makes an app good?
I guess for me, like the biggest
Application,
problem I saw in the essays I read is that like you want to make your essays enjoyable to read. Like it doesn't have to be funny, but like if someone picks it up, they want to finish it. You know what I mean? I don't know how to put that into words. It's basically just saying write better.
It's like
but
good storytelling.
yeah.
Storytelling,
Yeah.
like narrative, I think is super
yeah,
important.
narratives
Yeah.
are very good.
So
in
what did you
essays.
write about in yours?
My Common App essay, I brought back some anecdote from kindergarten when I did a show and tell thing, and I brought a dead bird, and the class freaked out. And I sort of connected that to how I just like talking and like presenting and performing things like that in like all my other extracurriculars. So I guess my narrative was literally my life story,
Oh, that's good.
and they seem to like it. So
That's
yeah.
cool. That's cool. Yeah. So are you saying that like you brought a bird and then people freaked out or something? But
So
then-
how I said
was
it is like when I brought the bird and people freaked out, I felt like
empowering.
empowered. Yeah, I felt like this is something I want to do, which is why I did speech in high school, why I made videos, took, film classes, things like that, because I wanted to get that same sort of feeling of show and tell. Yeah.
Interesting. So why do you think you have this feel? Like, why did it feel so good when people freaked out over your bird?
I don't know. I guess since I was a kid, I was always small, and I was a minority back then. I lived in like Texas, so I was the only Asian kid. So I always felt like really invisible. And once like people started looking at me, it just felt good. I don't know.
You felt like a cereal in milk.
Exactly.
That was great. I really like that. Yeah. Do you still feel this like segregation a little bit? Maybe not segregation, but like alienated because you're Asian American in Stanford or just in general here?
I'd say in Stanford and the Bay Area in general, I really don't feel that at all. Maybe in like some like subsections of the school, like maybe if you go to like frat houses, you might feel a little off. But in general, I never felt like any sort of prejudice against me since I've been here.
So when did you feel like prejudice?
Just like bouncing between like suburbs, like white suburbia, like through most of my childhood. I was always like the only Asian kid in the neighborhood. Yeah, I mean, they were all my friends, but looking back on it now, there was always some sort of divide.
Okay. Can you kind of elaborate on the divide?
Yeah, like they like make jokes about like my eyes and things like that, and I just sort of learned to just take it. They called me like Jap or something like that, Chinkook, etc. And I just sort of rolled with the punches. I just took it because I wanted to be friends with them, but I realize now that I couldn't be friends with them because I'm never going to be them.
Did you ever felt that like, oh, I wish I wasn't Asian?
Yeah, definitely. For a large part of my life, but yeah, I mean, I'm very comfortable with being Korean.
Oh,
sorry.
you guys are both Korean?
Yeah.
Choi makes sense. Park
Yeah,
makes sense.
and I guess just spending a lot of time with my parents, learning about the heritage, and going to Korea now and then, I realized that it's a good place to be.
Cool. What about you? How do you like? Did you ever felt like you were alienated when you were kids and stuff like that?
I feel like I grew up in like New Jersey, pretty diverse area, and then when I went to high school, I was lucky. I moved to Indiana for my high school, which is like it was pretty much white suburbia too. But I was lucky enough to like have a pretty diverse community there. But I feel like the school I'm at Vanderbilt, it is that segregation. There's a lot of Greek life at Vanderbilt, Greek, non-Greeks. most Greek is white, and like there is that segregation. And literally the other day I was just like looking at lunch, and you can even like see it's not on purpose or anything, but there's actually like segregation implicitly. And like I thought that was pretty interesting. I never really like noticed it, but you know, I don't know if that just has to do with the fact that like people, you know, are drawn to, you know, there's similar communities. I don't know exactly, but there is a divide, and like I thought that was like pretty interesting because I never really recognized it until like college, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to do CS like in high school?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So I actually wanted to be an investment banker.
Oh no way! It's a blessing. You
So, yeah, so I joined math and business. There was a program that was called Double Degree, and you do math at Waterloo, and then you do business at another school. And then I wanted to be an investment banker because I didn't want to follow my brother's footstep. What he did was he dropped out of the business. He did the same program, but he dropped out of the business in 2 semesters. And he did math. He was like a big math nerd. He did pure math, and then he ended up being like a quantitative researcher. I didn't want to do that. I didn't even want to touch like STEM stuff. I said, you know, I'm a sociable guy. I could be a businessman, whatever that means, right? So then I joined. I joined Waterloo and Wilfrid Laurier, which is theater college, and after 1 semester, I dropped business because I just couldn't handle it. I was like, oh my god, it's so boring. And then it was after that I learned about, Facebook, they pay a lot for computer science. For software engineers, and Google and all these cool jobs. And then I just switched from math to computer science. I was lucky because when I was taking math, I also was taking like CS for fun. Because of that, I had the credits to go into computer science. But yeah, and then even after I went to do a few internships in software engineering, I still didn't really want to do it because I thought, I'm a businessman. I should do more like thing that is like a little bit more social. So that's why I changed to data science, and then I changed to product manager because back then I was very ambitious. I wanted to make a startup, or like I wanted to run a startup or do my own thing, right? And then over the years, I kind of reevaluated my values and what I care about, and in the end, like there are some other things that I care about now, and I feel like right now software engineering is a good fit for that. Yeah. So yeah, you guys have any study tips for?
Not gonna lie, I'm a little lacking in this area, but
So are you getting bad grades right now, or?
No, I'm not like getting bad grades. Like the thing is, like Stanford, grade inflation, etc. And as long as you just
Sorry, what's the grade inflation thing?
Grade inflation basically means like if there's a bell curve for like the grade distribution, then it's like skewed towards the A range.
The median is not like C.
No, it's not.
It's like B or something.
Yeah, it's probably around a B. I think I read that the average GPA at Stanford is like a 3.7 or 3.8.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's odd. But then again, are your grades important nowadays? Because you're not going to go to if you are going to grad school, it's important, but...
Yeah, the only fields where grades really matter, I would say, is probably like if you're pre-med, if you're going to like some sort of STEM graduate school like physics or something, or law, I'm not really sure. But other than that, the Stanford name on top of your degree will probably matter more than the number beneath it.
A lot of the top schools like have, like Harvard, for example, like people say it's hard to get a 4.0, but it's like easy to get like a 3.7, 3.8. Yeah.
Okay, because because it was so hard to get in, they deserve the grade inflation.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that works. Yeah, but like Vandy has like grade deflation.
Yeah. A lot of schools.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's like the average is a D.
I don't know if it's a D, but it's lower, yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think MIT and Princeton also have grade deflation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
it's harsh.
Actually, MIT I think has a quota on a number of students that can get A's in a class. So they're literally competing with each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that seems toxic to me. So
Yeah. When I went to CEGEP, which is something in Quebec, it's like pre-university, we had something called an R score, and what it is if it compares your grades with your classmates. So no one would collaborate.
Yeah.
Because if your classmates do bad, then you do well.
Yeah.
Right. This is terrible. So what about like, now that you've started college, do you think you're very different from when you're high school? Like what are some of the lessons that you've learned? a lot, and you wish to pass it on to kids or high schoolers?
Right.
I think I changed a lot. Like in high school, I didn't really care about things. I just was always just doing enough to get by. I wasn't really ambitious or anything. And I did well enough, I think, just to do okay in school and when whatever. And even freshman year of college, I'd say I wasn't really like that driven or like ambitious. Freshman year summer though, I spent like 3 months alone in New York, and I really just got to do my own thing and explore. And I think I really thought about like where I wanted to be in the future, and that really helped me be grounded in my goals and my ambitions. So like, I think I've changed a lot since then. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people change in college just because you're exposed to new perspectives. It's a different world, and like it's not the real world yet, but it's one step closer. So like your eyes are opened up, or your mind is opened up to a lot more information and perspectives.
Well, the first 2 years of high school, I was slacking off. Like you said, I had this weird concept that being cool meant not studying, like the cool kids, so I just didn't study. But junior, senior year, I was so like romantically attached to the idea of getting into a good school that I worked my ass off, like really hard. But now that I'm here at Stanford, it's like, since I don't have an end goal in mind, I guess I have like a bit of perspective. I don't like work as hard, mostly because I don't have anything to work towards at the moment.
I mean, it's a hard thing to do, right? Like, I'll give you a comparison. In a company, we have something called like a goal metric or an OKR. It's something that the company work towards too, right? But it's not always correct. It doesn't always lead you to the right path. And the most dangerous thing you can do is following it blindly and then realizing that that's not what you want, right? So, I mean, I think it's totally okay that you don't have a goal anymore, but it's nice to try to think about it and know at least what kind of direction you want to go to. I mean, I feel like you kind of know what you want, especially for now. It's like you want to own your own thing. I'm guessing that you want to do your own thing, run your own business, kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, and it changes every 2 weeks.
Exactly, it changes every 2 weeks.
Changes every 2 weeks. It's going to take a step back and think about it, and literally within a month, it could be complete opposites. It's just like thinking long term, like what I really want out of life in the long term.
So do you not even have like a slightest of idea of a goal or something that you want to work towards to? Like it can be anything, like, oh, I want to be a more honest person. I want to be a funnier person, right? Like
I think what I've concluded is that if I'm going to work on anything, it has to be sort of creative. I need to have my own input on it, because I've tried like sort of busy work like desk jobs, and I don't think I can do that. So whatever I'm doing, it's probably going to involve sort of what I'm doing already, maybe like YouTube or just creating, maybe writing, just anything in that sort of industry area, media, entertainment, etc.
Yeah, imagine if you guys can do YouTube like full time. Imagine if every job paid the same. What would you do? Would it be YouTube or something else?
I mean, all things considered, if you could do YouTube as a career, it's an amazing thing. You can work at your own pace. You can just do whatever you want. So, I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be bad. My only problem with it is that your budget is not as high as like if you worked in like the film industry or something. Like if I wanted to make a feature film in the future, you can't do that on YouTube.
I mean, you could be a creative director or like a movie director. That's also a possibility.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I guess.
Like imagine if you could do anything.
Anything.
Not constrained to YouTube or something else. You could do anything.
Anything.
What would you do?
I don't know. I need to think of it.
I would probably say like movie directing would be, if I was good enough, would be a dream. I personally think like YouTube allows me to fulfill a lot of what I want out of life, and that's not just like super career-driven goals. It's like I want to meet people who are doing cool things and surround myself with those types of people, and YouTube has allowed me to do that, which is great that it aligns with that goal. It also allows me to like travel and explore, and that has also been like one of my long-term goals. Kind of like Arpi was saying about like having something where he can really express his creativity. I think like YouTube really does kind of allow me to do that, and I've realized like recently that's like super important to me. So yeah, I think like potentially, yeah, considering if it was like more sustainable in the long term, I feel like it could definitely be viable or reasonable for me to pursue. But in the real world, I don't think I would ever do it like full time.
So what's like the future of your channels? But actually, before talking about the future, what was the origin of your channel? Like, why did you start it? Because sometimes it might not be like what it is now. Like you might have started for another reason, like my channel. Anyways, carry on.
Right. I guess I didn't really plan to start a channel. Just at the end of summer break last year, when I just graduated high school, I knew I wanted to make a video on college essays, like I said, to help like the information gap. And then winter break of this year, of my first year at Stanford, I was just bored and I decided to make some videos. And then it's just been sort of going like that ever since.
Yeah, so for me, I was in high school. I got into Vanderbilt. And I searched up Vanderbilt on YouTube and I could not find any other videos other than this 5-year-old video of this guy interviewing drunk people. And so I knew like day in the life videos were doing well and I saw that.
It's the same in tech.
Right, so it's like, okay, should I like create a day in the life video for Vanderbilt? So in my mind, it made a lot of sense because I wanted that when I was in high school. There was nothing to watch. And so I decided to make one. And I was like, oh, if all these videos are getting millions of views, I can make one that's like, okay, or even half that would be amazing. So I just went off and made it. And yeah, I started my channel just to like make that video. And then after like 3 weeks, it started doing well. And then I was like, I was like, oh, what the heck's going on? But like, I realized at that moment, like that was an opportunity to ride that momentum. And this, like once you get on the YouTube train, it's really hard to get it off. But I rode that momentum and I just said like, okay, well, now I'm just riding the momentum. Like I can't really take a break, but I love what I do. So it's like, it's great for me.
It's definitely good to ride the momentum. I did the same thing. Right, I did like a day in the life of a Facebook engineer and it just blew up and that's what started my channel pretty much. But yeah, so if ever anyone wants to make a YouTube channel, you should start with that.
And there's a lot of people in our like the college niche. There's a lot of people popping.
Yeah, you guys are the future generation of YouTubers. Like soon I'll become irrelevant. Like in a few years, like my channel will be irrelevant. It'll be filled with you guys. You guys will be like the next generation. So yeah, and it's funny because I actually watch a lot of these videos and I always keep tabs on them. And it's fun to see because some of them, like, yes, you can get millions of views for your day in the life video. But if you don't sustain that, or if you have nothing to say, like it doesn't last for long. There's a lot of people that get like 2 million views or 3 million views, but then their future videos, nobody care anymore. But yeah, so make sure you engage your audience.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why I guess my approach is quite different, where like I saw the potential in like making a bunch of Stanford videos like I do, and I still sort of have a quota. Like I should make one every so often to make sure I'm still on the radar. But what I noticed about like, like channels you said that make one like video that pop off, like people subscribe or people view for that one type of content. And if they can't sustain that, then nobody like wants to watch them. So I guess what I'm trying to build is like people want to watch me and not like the type of video I'm making, or like maybe they're just interested in my life. And even if it's a bit slower, I think I definitely appreciate that more.
It's very true. Because like the way how I thought about it when I started made my channel was that I made the startup series to sustain people, but I made all like the bullshit like how to get into tech. That was to drive new audience, right? And you can also think about it in a way where you just title it in a way that is very
external facing.
Right.
But then once they watch your video, they're like, oh my god, this guy is funny. Oh my god, this guy is, so that they can relate to you and stuff like that. But yeah, have you guys did people recognize you at school or like on the streets and stuff? Yeah. How did it feel the first time?
I guess for me, I've always like when I first got here, I sort of enjoy feeling invisible because I like to just observe and like.
I thought you like bringing the dead bird.
Yeah, same.
Right. But like that's in like a specific setting where like people are there to look at me. Yeah. But like otherwise, like I'm not very social because I don't know, I like to think to myself. So when people started approaching me and recognizing me, it was sort of weird because I felt like just this little freshman at the school just trying to learn things and people are like approaching me. I also choke really hard when people approach me.
Oh really?
Like a bunch of like kids would like show up to me and they're like, oh, I watch your videos, and I'm like, me too. Cool. And yeah, I don't know. It's a lot to take in, definitely.
Cool. Nice. All right. Would you guys like the second part of the video where I just tour around my apartment?
Sure thing.
All right, let me